to start this morning by introducing Mags officially, who is already guiding me, my projector sidekick here. First rule of business, if at first you don't succeed, try again, even if you're not a third line profile. There we go. Now it's working. All right, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start first by introducing Mags to you because I've hopefully had the privilege of meeting most, if not all of you, but I do want to introduce you to Mags. So Mags is a certified advanced quantum human design specialist. She's a quantum alignment system practitioner. She's a story lab facilitator. She's a certified holistic coach and advanced soul alignment, realignment, practitioner. So she's like us. She's got a passion to help make the world a better place. One of the things that I want you to know about Mags is that we call her in our group, in our team, on Team Quantum, we call her the tech whisperer. So Mags is actually the person that is responsible for all of the things that you see in the body graph program that we use. So if you are working with any of our free chart software, if you've built anything in that program, and if you haven't, don't worry, because we're going to teach you about some things to know about. But Mags is actually the person who has been responsible for building out the reports, creating the reports in the first place, helping us with any technological issue that comes up. So she's our tech whisperer on our team. She's a 1/4 projector or an orchestrator. And one of the things that Mags has created for us is a very clear, very simple, easy program to help people start and grow their human design practice. So she does have, before she became officially a woo-woo person, she managed a tech team who helped make bespoke sales and marketing systems for coaching businesses. She built landing pages, email automations for webinars and booking flows. And of course, she is a spiritual teacher as well as I said, the tech whisperer. So she's going to be here today to help me share with you some really important information to help you get your business started and to help me. We're going to kind of bust through some of the myths, if you will, of business and human design. If I have not had the pleasure and the privilege of meeting you yet, my name is Dr. Karen Parker. I'm the founder and creator of the Quantum Human Design and the Quantum Alignment System. I'm a multiple best-selling author. I'm one of the world's top-selling human design authors. I have a PhD in integrative medicine, but that doesn't mean I know how to use the annotation system that I can't figure out how to turn off because I've been an emotional freedom techniques practitioner since 2000. I'm also certified in healing touch. I've been a life coach since 1998. I studied with and worked for Ra Uru Hu in the beginning of my human design career. I've been teaching human design since 1999. I'm a Quantum University guest lecturer, a TEDx presenter. I'm the host of the Quantum Revolution podcast, and I am an Omega Institute Shift Network and Humanities Team faculty member, which I'm super, super proud of. That Omega Institute, teaching at Omega Institute, that was in my vision board for like 15 years. So I'm so excited to finally be able to do that as well. So I want to start us off today before I let Mags kind of walk you through the basic blueprint of everything you need to focus on as part of building your business. I want to walk you through a little bit of information about the business circuitry in the chart. So as I walk through this information, if you have your chart out, I want you to put it away. And the reason why I want you to put it away is because we're going to talk about the design of business. Business has its own design. And it does not matter whether you have things in your chart from business circuitry colored in or not, because you are designed to do business. We are all designed to do business if we feel called to do business. And really, when we talk about business and business by design, it's very easy for us to lock ourselves into a box and think, well, I don't have this, or I do have this in my chart. And what does that mean? And does it mean I'm not designed to do business, or am I designed to do business? We are all designed to do business. It's an integral part of being human, and business itself has its own design. This is not the entire business circuitry. There are two other channels associated with the business circuitry. There's the 1949, connecting the root center to the emotional solar plexus, as well as the 4037, connecting the emotional solar plexus to the will center. I purposely left those out. Those two channels that I left out on purpose, I left out because those are the two channels that are associated with employees, team, HR, having a group of people to help you with your business. And part of why I left those out on purpose is because I want to really emphasize today that in the beginning of your business, you don't need a team. You can literally do it all yourself. And it's not as hard as you might think it is. Sometimes it's the story we tell about how hard it is that gets us bungled up. Here's the piece that there's a couple of things I really want to point out to you about the design of business. The first thing that I want you to notice is that it goes through the will center, which is, as if you are familiar with human design, which hopefully you are, because we're going to be talking about building a human design business, it's part of the heart chakra. So when we look at the design of business, you'll see that it has a channel that goes from the will, which is the place where you serve and share. And part of that serving and sharing in the will center is about serving your higher purpose, right? The place where you serve and share, the heart is literally the middle or the terminal point in the business circuitry. So business is about your heart, but it's not really about your heart. It's actually about your client's heart. And so sometimes when we start talking about business and business by design and human design and business, we get really caught up. And I see a lot of people talking about like secret codes within your chart that'll guarantee you that you'll find the extra special secret language based on the configuration of your chart that's going to make your business work. And I'm going to share with you, there's important things you need to understand about your chart in order for you to go into business in a way that keeps you from burning out. And that's huge. That's huge because when we go into business, if we don't have a business skill set, and really literally knowing how to do business is a skill. It's like learning how to cook. It's like learning how to drive. These are skills, right? Learning how to do human design is a skill, and it's not a skill that's going to guarantee you a business success. It's a separate skill set. That's what you are here to give people. That's what you're here to share with your clients. If you're going to build a successful business, you also have to cultivate business skills, and those skills are not hard to learn. And those skills, when we root them in the heart of who we are and in the heart of our business, those skills are deeply embedded in the core theme of using your business not only to build a business for yourself that allows you to be sustained, that keeps you energized, that keeps you, being able to work your business and being able to sustainably work your business. It also means that your business is your place of service. And so when we talk about business circuitry and business and the design of business, what we see is that really the heart of your business is the service that you give your clients. And you're really, the most important skill you need to have is how to know your client, how to meet the needs of your client, how to ideally serve your client. Because when you are really using your business as a vehicle for service, then, well, first of all, it makes it way easier to get through all those things that sometimes get us bungled up, like being seen, right? Or selling, because now selling is love and selling is service. And those are things that we oftentimes are much more comfortable doing rather than selling ourselves, right? It's not comfortable to sell ourselves. We don't like selling ourselves. But if we can understand that sales and marketing, which is a key part of business, is actually a vehicle for delivering love and service and for helping people find a path to transform pain into power, which is also, by the way, in the business circuitry, then we can start to see that our business can become a vehicle for us to do good work in the world, right? Instead of it being some weird disguise with weird marketing language and stuff that we have to put on that feels uncomfortable and sometimes skeezy that we hate to do, or is confusing and overwhelming because we don't know what we need to do and we think there's some special secret formula, and there isn't. You have to understand that your business is about your client and that business is a skill set. That's it. I don't want people to make it overcomplicated. And I will tell you that I have been coaching people in human design businesses since 2005. I'll share with you, in the beginning of my business, I did not get it right. I did not get it right at all. I was a full-time single parent. I was raising 4 kids by myself. I was responsible for all the finances as well as all the parenting, all by myself. And I really, really, really loved helping people. That was my passion. I started off in my career as a nurse. As you saw, became a life coach. I loved helping people. I couldn't imagine not doing this work. I tried. I did. I tried to have a job. How many of you tried to have a job? I did. It was like 6 months. I made it for 6 months with a job, right? And that was it. I'm technically unemployable. So that left me with, no choice but to learn how to do business. And I sucked at it. And that's just the honest assessment. I, and during that time, there was a season, especially where I got really, really good at avoiding the repo man because my car was always threatened. Somebody was always threatening to take my car back because I was struggling to make my car payment. I lost a house to foreclosure. I had a very, very rough time in my business. And part of why I had a rough time in my business is I did not understand how to make it work for me. I am a manifesting generator. I can do a lot of things by myself, and I did. And basically, my business organization, my business structure was technically what I'll call spray and pray, right? I tried everything and I tried to do everything at the same time and everything by myself. There were literally years where I only took 2 days off a year, unless I got sick. And that only happened like once every 4 years. And I didn't even sleep because I didn't even have customer service automated. I didn't know how to do customer service. I had my laptop under my bed. And even in 2009, when I had my newborn baby, I was still checking my emails in the middle of the night and answering customer service emails because I was so afraid that I would miss the sale or miss the opportunity to get a new client because I needed the money. And so my journey in business had a lot of trial and error in it. And one of the things that I really wanted to commit to, that I have committed to over the years, is making sure that when I train people to do human design as a practice and to become good human design specialists, that I also have to find a way to teach you exactly how to do your business. Because if you can't do your business, if you don't know how to do that business, you can't serve and you can't sustain yourself. And then you end up having to put your passion on the sideline and do something in the meantime, like get a job or whatever, and try to do something that's soul sucking and squeeze that human design piece in on the side. And that's exhausting and that's depleting and it's not fulfilling. And you actually can put it all together in a way that works for you. When we look at business, as I said, your business is about serving and it's about being ready to serve. So let me show you when we look at the design of business. When we look at the design of business, if you look at the design of business, we start down at the root center. Business starts in the gate 54 with divine inspiration. That 54 says, I have this place of service that is divinely inspired. It connects with the 32, which is endurance, which means for you to do business, you have to be ready. There's so many things we teach in human design, like for a projector, you have to wait for the invitation, or for generators, you have to have something to respond to. What the design of business shows us is that this channel, the 5432, means you don't have to wait for anything. Your job in the beginning of your business is to set the stage and prepare the way for your business to be seen by the world, right? So many times I hear people say things like, well, how do we do business? How do we market if we have to wait for the invitation, right? That's hard. Max, you can relate to that question as a projector, right? If you have to wait, how do you have to wait for an invitation to market? No one is going to call you up and say, hey, could you market on Facebook, please? Right? No one is going to call you up for that. You can do all the parts of business that are all related to setting the stage. That means building your website, getting your software systems set up, getting your email system set up, getting a blog set up, getting your platform built, getting your business message or your heart-based message out into the world on social media. You can do all of those things without an invitation, without any kind of recognition, without anything to respond to. All you need is passion and a deep connection to divine inspiration. So if you thought that you couldn't build a business because of your type, write that off your list right now. Scratch it out. That's not true. That's not true. Everyone can prepare the business. If we go up to the spleen center, what the spleen center tells us is that business happens when the timing is right. Well, you know what makes the timing right? Being ready. Right? Having all those pieces in place. If you're trying to sell, but you don't have a place for people to pay you, that's not uncommon, by the way. If you don't have a system for people to connect with you, if you don't have a website or some place for people to find you, I'm not saying you won't do sales, but I'm saying it's been really hard for you to sell. And sometimes unconsciously, we almost push sales away because we know we're not ready yet. And so I want to just say the right timing is engineered by readiness. And that's a piece in business that, is very important to explore, because really in that 5432, we get the message. The chart shows us we can do better business and we can have success in business when we're ready. But the question is, of course, well, what do you get ready for? What do you need to have ready, right? That's always the big question. So later on, when we talk about 9 things in this blueprint we're going to give you, Mags is going to outline for you what exactly do you need to have ready. When we go to the spleen center and we look at the spleen in the gate 44 connecting to the 26 to the will center, that's that second channel in business. That's where the process of selling lives. That's actually the channel of sales and marketing in business. By the way, that's the same channel that is about transforming patterns of pain and healing trauma in order to step into greater value and beauty. And so when we start talking about sales and marketing, we're also talking about giving people hope. We're talking about giving people a path to begin the journey of transforming pain into a place where they can heal and step into a place of higher value, to step into the full expression of the heart of who we are. That's literally what you're doing with your business, right? And every layer of your business, from your website to your marketing to your email to your sales process, everything you do in business is really about bringing people back to that very simple journey. That journey of saying, I see you. I see where you're hurting. I understand your pain. And in some cases, some of you have even been, when you're working with your clients, you've been where your clients have been, right? Taking your client on that journey from that place of pain or fear, because there's fear in that spleen center, and transforming them through the work that they do with you into a place where they see their value. They heal any place where they're out of integrity with themselves. And then when we see the 2145, the last channel, business is about sharing. It's about literally sharing from the heart of who you are. And so I wanted to show you this because to me, when I see this, anytime I come up against a growth edge in my business, and there's always a growth edge in business because it's also a personal journey of your own stepping into your power, your own claiming your own value, right? That anytime we come up on that growth edge, I always have to go back and remind myself, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about my ego. It's not about my capacity. It's not about, am I good enough? Although that kicks in some days, right? It's about, how can I help more people transform pain and fear into a deeper alignment with their authentic self, the heart of who they are, and help them see the preciousness, that once in a lifetime cosmic event that they were born to fulfill. That's what your business is. That's what your business is about. When you understand how to focus in and be ready, that's that 5432, how to focus in and be ready, it sets you up to get started doing this work in the world. And honestly, I can't think of more important work to do in the world right now than to help people heal pain and fear and trauma and step into a different perspective, a healed perspective on their value, who they are, and the heart of what they're here to bring into the world. So Mags has put together for us a 9-step roadmap. These are 9 things that every human design specialist or quantum alignment system practitioner or any human design practitioner, or whatever you call yourself, needs to have in place to build a real practice. These are simple core pieces to put in place. And along with that, we're going to give you a link to this roadmap. So you're going to actually get a whole, I think we put that in chat, have we yet, Mags? A whole handout with a lot of information on there for you to help you walk through these 9 steps and sort of do a very careful assessment of yourself. Of where are you in the construction of your own practice?
What I'd like to say in the beginning, who's excited about tech? Said no one. And, Karen said to me, oh, yes, yes. Oh, that's good. Some people have said me. So, I mean, Karen said that in the early days, we didn't have everything that we've got today. And in the team, I'm called the Tech Whisperer. But when I started my coaching business, like 14 years ago now, it took me 2 months to do a 2-minute video to go on a landing page that somebody was doing for me. I was terrified. So I've not always been a tech whisperer, And so I've grown with this. And actually, as a projector, I was burned out, I was getting no money, and that's how I ended out doing the tech and the funnels and then learning to do it so that I can help you. So now I find the tech really exciting. There's so much out there that it's overwhelming. You can Google stuff and you can get free stuff, and it's like, this is best, and it just blows your head off. So, this 9 step process that we've got, not only have we put it in good steps, we've tested it and it works. And it's really incredible and inspiring. And as Karen says, it does take us to the edge of our courage. But when we've got this process, it's like, just take the next step and breathe, take the next step and breathe. So step one then is for you to define your identity, because at the end of the day, how can clients find you if they don't know who you are? So this is where you begin to talk about how you serve people, that you get a nice headshot and you can take it with one of these. You don't have to freak out and go, oh, I need a photo shoot costing X amount. Get your photos together, get a lifestyle photo together, put something together about human design. And then there's some of the things like your terms and conditions and bits like that. So what we do in this first section is it's like moving everything on site when we're starting to build your website and everything around it. So that's what we mean by that. So that's the exciting beginning.
And I think I just want to clarify too, when we talk about defining your identity, that's really not so much, oh, I have this training and this number of years of practice, and that certainly that can be a little bit of it, but really when we're defining your identity is you're basically showing your heart to the world and showing people, what does your heart look like so that they can connect with you personally and really start to build a relationship with you, because so much of what you do in business is really just connecting with people and building a relationship with them.
So step two is setting up your website. Everything we've done in number one gets all your information together. So what we do here is you get your domain, you can get some really good one-page websites. There's cheap ones that are like $20 a year. So the other thing with this process is that we look at things that, first of all, have got good customer service, so that if you get stuck, you can ask, but also it doesn't cost you a fortune to begin with. But you can get your domain and you can get a really lovely website that you can put all this information on and also use it for your lead magnet. But what you're doing is you're creating a hub so that clients can find you, clients can see you, and how you can serve them.
Yes. And again, I would say it's so cool these days to be able to do this pretty much drop stuff in. And I think so when I first started my websites, they were, content was king, right? You put as much content as you could on the website, and they were very dense and very full of people were reading in those days. It was before you put videos on websites, right? And it took a long time to put a website together. And now when you really look at website builders like Squarespace and some of these really quick formats, it's not something that you need to let hang you up, because it's pretty simple and the content that you put on it can be really simple. But again, it goes back to, you've got to have a hub. You've got to have a place where people can find you, because that's part of that 5432 channel, that people can't be ready to work with you. And the spleen is all about readiness. That readiness doesn't happen if they can't find you. So you have to have a place where they can find you, get to know you, contact you, right? And be able to do what they need to do with you to get that whole relationship initiated.
Okay, so step three is your chart tools and free opt-ins. And one thing that I always struggled with my business when people said, create a lead magnet, do this. And it's like, I don't know what to do. We partner with Bodygraph, and step three is creating your own custom body graph and reports and the chart. And you can put this on your website. So then whenever you're doing any marketing, any events, it's like, get a free chart, get a free chart, get a free chart. And you can build your list so that you can email and create a relationship, but build in the body graph chart. For me, has been an absolute game changer. And I know, for QAS, it's been incredible. And the system's always improving, and it is, when you know the step by step by step, it is actually super simple to create.
Well, and I will just say, I can't stress strongly enough how, having the capacity to run charts automatically from your website, which is not hard to do. This is the piece that I really want, well, it's many of the pieces that I want to stress. BodyGraph is super easy to use. They created this, first of all, their customer service is outstanding. And secondly, it's very easy to integrate the software onto any website. And, I go back to when I first started my business, there was only one software provider, one. And that software system, you got delivered in the mail. It was on a floppy disk and you had to install it. If there was any problem or any update, you had to get the update delivered to you in the mail on a floppy disk, right? And that's how old this is. And in the beginning, we couldn't automate it, right? We didn't have automatic systems. So by the time when I published the Understanding Human Design book, which I think came out in 2011, we started getting literally hundreds of charts coming in a week, and we were hand running charts. Like I actually had one person in the office and her only job was to run charts all day. And fortunately, by that time, we were able to put them in PDF format and send them back via email. In the very beginning of my practice, we didn't have PDF. So we literally were printing charts, folding them up, putting them in envelopes, and going to the mailbox, which is probably why I still have trauma about going to the post office, because I hate it, right? And so this chart tool is such a huge game changer for yourself and for your business. And again, it's not just the chart tool. When you work with BodyGraph, you also have the ability to create your own reports so that people can begin to build a relationship with you. They get to know you, they get to know your message, they get to know about you, they get to know about your practice. And if you're the kind of person that's like, I don't know what to write, I don't know what I would put in a report, I have no idea, you can just use standard reports that are in there too. But that is an essential part of giving people something to help them begin to build their relationship with you. So this whole process and working with BodyGraph over the years to get them to make it so that my students can integrate their chart system on their own websites and use it as a way to begin to collect email addresses and start building a relationship with clients is huge. It's huge. And I can't stress strongly enough how important that is. You're going to get more high quality potential clients from this than you'll get anywhere else. You won't get these kinds of clients on social media. You won't get these kinds of clients anywhere else. The people that come in on your chart software are good people who are oftentimes ready for what's next once they see their chart.
So step 4 then, the automating of your booking and payments. It is super important to make it easy for your client to deal with you, because have you ever gone on a website thinking, yeah, I want this, and you go through the payment and you've got the circle of doom and it's like, oh, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do with this section is we make sure that we fully automate that back end, so that if somebody is interested, then they can book a reading with you. They can pay. You can use different payment systems. I really love Stripe. I find that the best, to be honest. And then when all that's, it gets all the emails out, all the reminders, so that you don't get no shows. And we're not like backwards and forwards in with emails. Oh, can you do this date? Can you do that date? And adding all those together and making sure that all linked and one follows the other makes it so easy for the client while they're excited, but also it saves you time so that you can focus on your passion.
Mhm.
doing the readings or the coaching or whatever it is you do. And this part is so vital.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, this is the part that sometimes people skip, right? It's like I can't tell you how many times I've been like, okay, I'm ready to buy, and there I can tell there's a scramble happening behind the scenes because they're not ready for the payment. And just making it super simple, again, it builds confidence in you. The client is confident in you when the system works and it's easy and they know where to pay, they get a confirmation, they know that they've paid, they've got themselves scheduled, it's all good to go.
Step 5, then create an email nurture sequence. And again, this is something that people miss out. So, they get your lead magnet. So in our case, you get the body graph chart and it's like, bye. What we do here is we can get their email address into our automated system, and we can send some loving, gentle emails, give them a bit of information, a bit more information about human design, and maybe how they could work with you, if they could book a call or a reading, or getting into your coaching, so you can start to nurture them rather than just them getting a chart and walking away. And this really does make the most of that lead magnet and bringing this relationship for your clients closer to you, and them you closer to them and them closer to you. So this is really vital. And again, it's all automated. So you're not there going, oh, they did this, let me do an email, even if it's a copy and paste thing. It's all automatic.
So people can literally feel confident in making a purchase any time of the day or night. So I want to just pause for a second and let's review a little bit what we've covered, right? We've talked about how you have to have your own identity, and that's part of setting yourself up in business. You've got to have a way of presenting yourself out into the world as an expert, as somebody that has something to share. And that includes having a little bit of clarity about who you are, a little bit of a bio, and a headshot doesn't have to be, again, doesn't have to be super fancy. It's always interesting to me though, that sometimes it's the headshot that often gets this is the place where we get hung up. So let go of all the stuff about how do I look and blah blah blah. Just get your picture, get a clarity about who you are and who you want to serve, and what turns you on in terms of the people you really like to serve and how the message that you really want to get. You got to build a website that can be fast, simple, and easy. You've got to be able then, once you've built that website, to be able to get paid, to get scheduled, right? So that all of that is taken care of. You've got to have a way to run charts, and then a way to, once people get a chart, start talking to them, start building a relationship with them so they get to know you better. Because selling is a very intimate process, and you're not, here's something I want you to be aware of. You're not going to sell to everybody. You're definitely not going to sell to everybody. In fact, when we look at the math of business, you're only going to be selling to 2 to 5% of the people who come into contact with you. So part of what you're doing when you're building this relationship and sending people out information about you and letting them know that you hear them and you know what their pain is. Part of what you're doing is you're calling in your clients, the clients that are for you, that resonate with you, that are going to get the most amount of benefit from you. And so this whole process of building this relationship is not just building relationships so then you can sell them something, right? That's the part that we start to feel like, ew, I don't want to do that, right? But rather you're beginning a relationship with someone, and that relationship, if that's your client, if that person is your client, there's gonna be resonance there. There's gonna be a frequency alignment. They're gonna hear you and they're gonna see you and you're gonna hear them and they're gonna feel seen and heard. And that's gonna be the initiation of the potential for a deeper relationship where they hire you. All right, step 6. This is the part where people start to get nervous, right?
Oh, yeah. And what I would say as well, before you start putting things out there, it's really important, steps 1 to 5, to test your tech. Just
Mhm.
to put a test through the entire thing, because again, if you've got your courage and you've built all this and you haven't tested it and it falls down, the client will go elsewhere because there'll be other people doing this. So
Mhm.
then Step 6 then is looking at your social media, and it's really good to be clear in your own mind what your message is. Who is it you're serving? What is their pain, and how can you help them their pain? Because you'll have this core message, and it doesn't matter, you can spin it different ways, but when you've got this core message, then that you won't be scratching your head saying, what do I put on here, what do I put on there? You can start to really hone in who you want to work with and what their pain is and how you can help. And that can, and you can tell stories, you can do lots of things to actually draw that in. We can also use AI. You can get ChatGPT to sound like you by putting your information in. And so it just doesn't sound like an ordinary business conversation. And that doesn't take long. It took me probably about 3 or 4 weeks, just keep feeding stuff back in. And it really, really helps and can be inspiring. Don't let it do it for you, because it won't have your love and your energy in it, but it can help you be inspired. It can give you a sounding board, especially for those with, those of us that need to talk things through. And it can also, you can ask it for a 30-day content plan so that
Mhm.
it can help you where you want to go on social media. The other thing as well is, don't try and do every platform. Pick one or two, or the ones that you like, and just really hone in on that, rather than trying to do, say, like all these 9 that you can see on screen.
No, yeah, don't do all those 9. I think the other piece is, the next piece that, whoops, the essential piece of this step 6 is you do have to have clarity about what do you stand for? What is your business really about? You know, if you're familiar with my business, you know that I generate a lot of content. If you go to any social media platform where I am, or if you follow my newsletter, plus I write a lot of books, I have a lot of content. But if you really look at my content, I'm really only saying one thing. And really what I'm saying is that you have innate creative power. You are a once in a lifetime cosmic event with a very unique identity. You are this beautiful being that's never existed before. You will never exist again. And in the process of coming to Earth, you've probably forgotten that part of yourself. And so your job and my job as your guide is to help you remember that once in a lifetime cosmic event that is you. That's my message. That's literally my message. And every single piece of content that I generate is in some way, shape, or form just a variation on that message. And one of the things that I really want you all to think about as you look at these steps is really, asking yourself, what is my core message when I talk to people and I give them the promise of the transformation using human design or whatever you might be using? What is the promise of the transformation that you bring them? What do you want people to know? If you could put your perfect client in a chair next to you. And I do this, by the way, all the time. If I'm like stuck, like, what do I need to say and how can I be of service? Which is a question that I live in all the time. I'll put my pretend ideal client in a chair next to me and I'll say, what's hurting you right now? Okay, you're really hurting right now because you're under stress and your body's not working. Maybe that's what I'm focusing on in my business, because I'm getting ready to launch a new book. And the new book is a lot about pain in the body, right? And so if I'm talking to my pretend client, I'm going to think about what's that thing. If I was going to like reach across in the chair and grab them by the lapels and say, honey, you forgot this amazing thing about yourself. That thing that I'm going to share, that's what I'm going to build my entire content base around. Right. And of course, my sharing, well, I always want to share with people, you are a once in a lifetime cosmic event. You were beautiful and you forgot. Let's remember, right? That's my core message. You have one of those for yourself. You have your own message that you want to bring. Your own base is very, very simple mission that you're on. And really, when you start to recognize it and you start to see it, part of what happens is social media and all these different places where you share messages with people become kind of fun, because you know that even if you're writing something for Facebook or you're making a video for TikTok or Instagram, that it's going to hit somebody. It's going to land with somebody, on somebody's heart, and you're going to give them hope or a promise or inspiration. And that becomes kind of fun, right? So we sometimes we avoid the social media because we're like, ew, ick, but it actually can be a really fun place of service. So this is
Step
my
seven
favorite part.
then.
This is very much my favorite part.
And Karen, it's mine as well.
Mhm.
Um, so generating your business offline. So we've talked about tech and social media. Back in the day when I was not really good at tech and I was terrified of Facebook and social media, this is where I grew my business, doing it offline. So, what does that mean? It can be events, as you guys say in the US, having booths. Um, it could be doing talks. When you know, again, going back to the what Karen's just said, when you know what your message is and your ideal client, you can do talks to groups and get in with them and get information and start to work there. I did a lot of mind, body, spirits, and I would do taster sessions. Another thing you can do is like human design parties. Um,
Mhm.
sort of get the host to get half a dozen people, get some wine and nibbles, and then the host gets hers for free. And she's very enthusiastic then, or he, to get a load of mates round. And that's a really good way of building a business, doing a taster session. And then people may want a full reading or want to work with you going forward from there. And the beauty of doing offline as well is that you're actually speaking to people. So when you're speaking to them, you can ask them the questions and you really get that feedback loop, and you can get more information than social media that can be a bit of a step back. So yeah, this is my favorite too.
It is. It is. I think so for many of us, not everybody wants like a full-time business. Some of you just want to have like a side business. And sometimes it's just about, going out and having fun, sharing human design with people and, getting on stage or talking at little community groups or doing, as Mag said, human design parties or expos. There are lots of other ways to generate business offline that can be very lucrative, very sustaining, and actually sometimes energetically, I think more fulfilling, I think, than social media, which sometimes can be it's not bad. Social media is great. And there's a lot I feel very fortunate. I think I've curated a pretty beautiful community online. Um, but this is just, you get to hug people. I like to hug people, you get to go hug people. All right, step 8.
Ooh, sell with integrity. So one thing that really can get people is the word sell. It's like,
Mm,
oh my God, that's so icky. I don't want to do it. And also some older style coaching was pushing, and it was like, tell them if they don't sign up now, they'll not get any discounts.
hate
And it
those.
was
Yeah.
pressure. So we've had this wave of really icky selling. And when we're sensitives like we are and we want to serve, that just feels so wrong. And the
Mm,
thing that really changed it for me was it's not selling, it's serving. And as Karen says, it's love.
mhm, mhm.
It's this person is in pain, this person needs help. And if I'm the person to help them, then I need to be there in integrity, and I need to be able to hear them and say, this is how I may serve you if you're ready and willing. And
Yes.
making that switch for me and for people we've worked with as well, it's just like, oh, I don't have to do all these icky things that are manipulative and out of integrity. So when we make that switch, that is massive. And what we can do as well is when people say, I need to think about it, when I was taught before, it was like, well, what do you need to think about? If I don't decide now, and it was like, no. But now we know, it's like, okay, if you need to think about it, let me know. and you can let them have that space and let them go with love, because at the end of the day, when a client's meant for you, they'll be there.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's really powerful. Selling is not convincing. And selling is not manipulative. Like you don't have to sell by sneaking a message in somewhere in a chat or in a message on Facebook or hijack somebody, right? That selling is about showing up with your heart, showing up with your skill set strong, showing up in integrity yourself. And I think that's crucial. You have to be in integrity because your own integrity creates an energetic field that literally will call in people who are available for the transformation that you have to bring. And then you sell by building a relationship. And when we can rewrite some of the scripts that we think of as are appropriate for selling, some of those old used car salesman, skeezy sales scripts that we're trained in, and really start to understand that selling is love. Selling is literally love. You're basically saying, I have this thing for you. If you're ready, come on. And if you're not ready, that's also okay. Sometimes people aren't ready and you don't know when they will be ready. But showing up with integrity means they're going to keep your name in their head and in their heart. And so that when they are ready, they're going to come back and find you because being in integrity and showing up with your heart is memorable and it's inspiring. And you can do good work in the world and sell and also not sell. And it's all love. And then step 9.
Well, step 9 is celebrate. Now, that might sound obvious. However, how many of us actually, it's like, okay, I've got all this tech chisel to do. So you get your head down and start to do stuff. And then when you finished it, it's like next, and then you do that, next, and then you do that. Let's take time and space to celebrate. You've
Mhm.
done an amazing journey. You've put yourself out there, you've given it your time, your energy, your passion. And what you're saying to the universe and what you're saying to your clients is, I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to help those people who are in pain and those people who need what I've got so that I can serve with love at my highest potential. And that's what we need to celebrate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this is a piece. It's so funny that we stick this on here, right? We've got all this tech, you got to have the website and all the stuff we've been talking about. And so much about your business is showing up with your heart and standing in your value and and really normalizing that business should be fun. It should be joyful. And it also should embody what we want to give our clients, right? We want our clients to celebrate themselves, to celebrate their lives, their accomplishments. And that means we got to do it too. Everything we want for our clients, we have to also do for ourselves. And so many times, I think, especially in the business narrative, it's a headspace we get into, right? We think it's all heady up here. It's not, there's no head in the design of business at all. It's all hard, right? And we get into that space and we forget to take those intentional pauses, not only for celebrating. I want to add one other piece, Mags, and that is also for resting, because that rest piece, and you are so good at this, Mags, as a projector, you model this so well. Mags works and she works like a maniac when she's working, and then she goes off into the wilderness for weekend jaunts and for week-long jaunts and goes and disappears and does all these workshops and trainings and sometimes just retreats. I mean, I think you do such a great job of modeling self-care and that rest and renewal that's so essential for you as a projector. And when you build your business, you can structure it however you need to structure it to keep your business sustained. But part of it is we have to rewrite the narrative, our cultural narrative around work and business. It is very hard for a lot of us, me included. I'm probably the worst, right? Because I'm a manifesting generator. If you really gave me a choice about what to do with my life on a weekend, I'd probably say I want to come into work, right? Because I miss work. But if you don't take those pauses, not only to celebrate, but to rest and renew, you lose your creative thread. You lose your connection to that divine inspiration, which is that 54 energy that starts the whole process. And that's when business starts to feel crispy and dry and not fun. And we lose that spark and excitement, that energy source that is, that is so deeply sourced in that inspirational piece. So I would love for us all to normalize being well, taking care of ourselves, and celebrating. I also wanted to say the time is now. The time is now for you to build a successful business. And the reason why is we are in a, we're in this shift right now. We're thick in the shift. For the next 2 years, we still have a lot of disruption to go through. Systems are crumbling and falling apart. Excuse me. Things are falling apart. If you haven't looked at the news, you don't have to. I'll tell you now. Things are a little dodgy right now, and people are struggling. And part of why they're struggling is because they've lost connection with that inner compass that is their truth, right? That's that type, strategy, authority, that understanding of how your chart works and how your energy works. And now more than ever, people really need to know, how do we get reconnected to that inner compass? How do we stand in the face of a flood of information and know how to manage misinformation? How do we navigate what's true for us? How do we make solid, aligned, and sovereign decisions based on our own narrative, based on our own story, rather than what the collective is telling us that we should believe? I personally think that right now, the need for human design specialists and the need for people to find a place where they can get the information that they need to be able to stand strong in that space that allows them to be, I've been using the term ungovernable, and I'm not necessarily saying you have to be violently ungovernable. I'm saying you have to be able to be sovereign, which is another way of saying ungovernable. And when people are so stressed, jobs and the way we define jobs and work and education, everything is coming apart. It is time for us now, as people who are under aware of the gift that human design is, it's time for us now to get ourselves skilled in how to do business so that people can find us and we can find the people that we are here to serve and give them the message and the information that they need. So Mags and I have put together a program. It's called the Passion and Profit Business Accelerator. It's kind of a boot camp. In this program, you're going to learn how to master the tech, how to set up the business, sell your first reading, and start your journey to building a successful human design practice. So if you listen to all this and you're like, I don't know how to do all this, I don't know where to start, I sure would love to have somebody be with me, hold my hand, whisper the tech pieces to me so that my fear of the tech doesn't cause me to stop myself short, right? We created this program as a powerful way to give you hands-on support and nurturing to get you started in building and scaling your human design practice. So this program is for sale. It's on sale, 25% off. This is a program that's for you if you love human design and you can't wait to share it with the world, but you don't know where to begin. If you've been struggling or procrastinating or putting off doing things like building your website, figuring out what you should charge, how you should charge your payments, if you don't like promoting yourself, if you don't know what to say, if you are struggling with, feeling uncomfortable selling, this is a great program for you to get all the skills and the support that you need. If you've got a half-built website or you haven't really figured out the tech, this is a perfect place for you to be. If you're overwhelmed because there's all this conflicting advice and too many options and you don't know what to do and where to start, this is a very grounded, practical place where you're going to be walked through with support through all of those 9 core steps that we just talked about. So I'll leave this here for you to read for just a second. This is what one of our students has said to us. Ortal says, thank you for the opportunity for the Passion and Profit program. She just completed this program. She says, I truly enjoyed the live sessions and found the video lessons in the portal incredibly valuable. This course helped me organize my thoughts, clarify my direction, and gave me the inspiration I needed to complete my website step by step and start sharing my light with the world. Terry says, I love this course and I'm so appreciative of Mags and Karen. I was hesitant to sign up when the offer first announced because I've done similar courses and it ended in so much frustration and was extremely expensive, but I thought, why not? I know I can learn new things, and I did at my own pace and broken down so it was easy to grasp and implement. Support of off the charts, amazing. Thank you so much, which is an important part for us. We know that you need support. We know it. I know it. If I get stuck with tech stuff, I do not have the patience to do it. I need somebody to hold my hand, and I get it. It's so easy when we hit those roadblocks to let them stop us. And so we built into this program a very deep level of support. So our mission is to help you sell readings and serve people at your highest level as quickly and as easily as possible. So this boot camp works because we've done the work for you. We've tested all the systems. We've researched all the tools. We found the simplest, most effective way to get your business up and running. You're going to learn all the behind the scenes tech step by step, and we will walk you through it online together. So it's not like you're going to go off by yourself and get stuck. We're going to help you create and share free chart opt-ins to attract leads. We're going to help you set up email sequences. We're going to help you book and deliver your first client readings seamlessly. We're going to teach you how to use social media to promote your services effectively. We're going to help you build lasting client relationships from day one. You're going to have live support and real-time co-working. So you're going to actually be with a cohort working with us in support so that you get it done. We won't let you procrastinate. We'll come find you, right? What you get is 9 core sessions, 1 a week, plus clear actionable steps. So literally it's in 9 weeks. In 9 weeks, you'll have all this done. You're going to have live Q&As and co-working calls with each session to help you implement. We've got a private Facebook group you can go in and collaborate and celebrate with participants. And of course, it's a simple, proven system. And we know because we've tested it. We've been testing it now this year. And we know that when we put people through these paces, you will walk out with your business set up and ready to go. So the cost of the program is normally $997. As our way of thanking you for being here with us today, we are giving you a 25% discount. That's $250. Literally, you sell 2 to 3 readings and you've paid your costs for the program. So we're going to give you a coupon. We'll put it in the chat for you. That coupon expires on July the 28th at midnight. We'll put you the link here too for you to register. Our next cohort starts. When does the next cohort start, Max? Do you know when the date is?
Yeah, Wednesday, the 30th of July.
Yeah, so on Wednesday, the 30th of July, that means by the end of this month, you could get started. You could get started. So I really want to encourage you to join us, and I want to take some time now. Man, nothing has been, these buttons been, I want to take some time now just to answer the questions that have come in. So I'm going to go down to the Q&A. So Jillian says, this is a good one for you, Max. Can you please explain the pros and cons of using the BodyGraph free site as opposed to one on your own domain and website? That's a great one.
So with BodyGraph, you do get a free WordPress website. And when I first went on to BodyGraph, I did try and create a website there because then that would have been cheaper for you guys. And whilst BodyGraph is excellent, I did find the WordPress it was more complicated. There was more to it, and there was more coding and things like that. So the one that we use on Passion and Profit is so simple, it's unreal. So we went for simplicity, we went for low cost and good support. We support you, I support you in the Facebook group and on the calls, but also support from the tech as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's simple. It's really simple. And I think the other piece is, the capacity for customization when you do this, when you use their subscription services is really unparalleled. And that allows it to really look like you, be like you, feel like you. It's your system, basically. So, Zoe asked a good question, and Zoe says, not trying to sound cynical, but if you Google human design chart, there are pages of responses. Go to YouTube. There's even more stuff on YouTube, right? There's stuff everywhere. And I want to just start first by saying this is an awesome, good thing. And it's, I want you to really drop into that mindset. When I first started doing human design, it was basically me and a handful of other people. When I went to my publisher to propose the first human design book, literally at that time, there were no human design books. And usually when you go to a publisher and you want to get a publishing contract, they want to see that there are 10 competitive books on your topic, and there weren't any. And I was very lucky that my publisher believed in me enough to let me publish the book. The fact that there are people who know what human design is works in your favor. It works in your favor. And Google is not really where people are going to find you. Very few people are going to get leads from Google, right? And I would say, don't even go there. There's no point in you even trying to optimize that at this point. People are going to find you, because you're authentic and aligned and in integrity with yourself. That in and of itself is attractive. Number two, they're going to find you because you're clear on your messaging and you're talking to your clients. And you don't have to have a whole ton of clients from Google. We will teach you how to find your clients. We will teach you how to build a relationship with your clients. And you don't have to start on Google or be the number one ranking thing on Google. You don't. You never do. I'm not. If you look at me, go look me up. I'm not number one very probably anywhere unless you look for my name. And I've been doing this for 26 years. So don't buy into that idea that you have to be at the top of the Google search engine. You don't. What you have to do is be in integrity. You have to have a clear platform. You have to know how to talk to your ideal client. You have to be clear about who your ideal client is, and you have to know where to find them. And that's what we'll talk to you about and teach you how to do in that program. So that's not cynical at all, Zoe.
I think as well, do you think it'd be useful for me to drop the link for the website that I created so I created an avatar for the course and I can drop the link in here so you can see what the website looks like.
Do that. That'd be good.
There you go, Tess Reader. Great name. So you can see what it actually looks like. It's really clean, really simple, and that's what you need.
So good. Yaneska, I know that sometimes people ask about, Yaneska asks, what's the lowest plan with Bodygraph to allow it to be connected to your website? And I'm going to lovingly and gently say $59 a month is like, I know that you may need it lower right now, but if you build the business the way we teach you how to build a business, $59 is not going to be an outrageous investment. In fact, that's what, like a quarter of a reading or less, depending on how much you charge for a reading. So Tina says, is business chart and channels always the same, not calculating a chart based on when your business is established? So that's a little bit of a different thing. This is just sort of a fun thing to do. This is not essential to your business. If you have already established your business or you're going to start your business, you can run a chart for your business that has nothing to do with the business circuitry that I showed you in the beginning of the call. But do run a chart for your business. It's going to tell you a lot about the mission and the purpose of your business. And it's kind of magical. And it actually allows you to talk to your business. So this is going to be weird. We're going to go a little bit in the woo-woo realm for just a minute. But I have a very intimate relationship with my business. I literally talk to it every day. Like, I said I have a chair where I put my ideal client. I also have a chair where I sit in the morning and I talk to my business. And I ask it, what do you need from me today? What can I do to support you? How can I help you grow? Because I'm here to serve not only my clients, but my business, because it's the vehicle of service for my clients. I have to serve my business to better serve my clients. And so that requires me to be in partnership with it. And when I first, came up sort of with the idea of I should run the chart for my business, and the day I incorporated, oh my gosh, it blew my mind. So if you have your business established, go run the chart for your business's birthday, right? Or if you haven't started it yet, you can maybe even engineer what you like your chart for your business to be. Tessa says, is there a good way to find your core message, or is it simply a choice? I mean, there are certainly elements within your chart that can help you clarify your core message. And I encourage you to use that. But here's the piece that I would encourage you to also think about. So many times we think business by design is the chart, right? You are not just your chart. Your chart is the mechanics for how you operate. Okay. Your chart doesn't include things like your lived experiences, the things that have happened to you that have inspired a passion or a place of service in you. The number one thing for you to think about when you think about your core message is what lights you up and what makes your soul soar. What sets you on fire, because that's the energy that's going to give you the juice you need to stay sustainable. That's going to give you the power you may have to draw on those days when the tech doesn't work, because sometimes the tech doesn't work, as you all saw today, even with Zoom, right? Sometimes you're going to have to do things that you hate, like accounting. I hate accounting, right? You're going to have to do it because it's what you have to do to keep your business going. And when you can keep your business connected to your passion, then those days when it feels like a slog, you'll have that fire to draw from, and it'll keep you going. It also will help you do those, Mags said this so beautifully. I wrote it down, Mags, that business takes you to the edge of your courage, and it does. And it never stops, right? Because you're always going to be pushing that boundary of what's next. Where can I grow? How can I deepen my service, right? When we're standing on that edge and creating on that edge all the time, you need that passion to help you move forward when your knees are knocking, right? Because your knees will be knocking when you have to go do something new that sort of stretches you. Passion is important. Angelica asked, is there pricing that you recommend for a reading? Personally, I would recommend not charging less than $247 personally. But there's wiggle room in that. Sometimes we have to really think about where we are in terms of our comfort zone. I'm not saying you should stay in your comfort zone. I mean, I definitely am a big fan of pushing on the edges of your comfort zone. That's part of taking you to the edge of your courage. But we also have to sometimes start in the realm of believability first in order to grow in the confidence to go forward. So think about that in terms of how that works. Jen asks, is there a payment plan option? Jen, I think Hannah can answer that question for you in the chat. Steph says, can you please address creating videos for courses and social media when you have an undefined throat? Yes. By the way, I have a defined motorized throat, and I still have problems with this too. It's hard for me as a manifesting generator. I need something to respond to, right? And so if I get really stuck and hung up, I ask people, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? And that's actually a really cool technique to also get relevancy with your social media platform. You can post a question in social media like, what is your biggest question about human design? And have people answer your question. And that's going to give you things to respond to, or it's going to give your voice something to talk through. Dr. Karen says, does it make sense to join Passion and Profit if I haven't completed my Quantum Human Design or QAS programs? Max, I'm going to let you answer that one.
I would say yes, because when you've got the foundation of your business, once you've done level one, you can start to do a really decent foundation reading. So when you've got everything in place, then you can start to do the reading and get your confidence, and also to start get some money in for your return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would advise.
Yes, totally. All right, I'm going to answer this last question and then we'll let you go. Thank you all for hanging with us for so long. I really appreciate it. Ray says, with all the information online that people can find once they run their chart, is there still a strong demand for readings? And I would say yes, yes. And here's why. You can go to ChatGPT and be like, I have an open solar plexus with this gate and this gate and this gate, right? And ChatGPT can spit out an answer. And first of all, you don't know if it's right or not, especially if you don't know human design. And I will tell you, it's often not right. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is no amount of artificial intelligence can respond and synthesize a chart. When you sit down as a human design specialist and you start off your reading, which is what I teach all of my specialists to do, you start off that reading as a catalytic conversation. You're here to help them where they are, right? And they're usually showing up because they're hurting, right? And those are the people that are booking readings. People who are booking readings because something in their life is giving them discomfort and pain, whether it's money, relationships, their connection to source, their body, their career fulfillment. They're hurting. And you, as a specialist, are going to be able to sit with that person, hear what they're saying, and know how to go to that chart and find the information that they're looking for. No artificial intelligence can do that. No artificial intelligence can synthesize the chart and make it into a coherent storytelling tool. You have skills that never can be replaced by AI. And if you understand how to market yourself and how to construct your messaging effectively, no one's ever going to think, well, I could hire this person, right? But I'm not. I'm going to go to ChatGPT and ask this question because they're going to know what you have is irreplaceable. So I get this question lately. I've been getting this question a lot, and I'm going to tell you there's nothing that can replace you sitting down with your heart wide open, being in your place of service, delivering to your client the customized, tailored information that they are looking for in their human design chart. And that information isn't always in the chart. Sometimes you're bringing your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, right? That you are bringing all of your soul, all of your being into that conversation. Nothing can replace that. Nothing will ever replace the heart that you bring to your work. So, with that, I will say thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mags, for your wisdom, your brilliance, for putting together this very beautiful, logical, sequential step for how you can begin to construct your business. I really want to see you all, if you are struggling, if you're procrastinating, if you're putting it off, if you want it, but you don't know if you can, I want to assure you, you can do this. You absolutely can do this. And if you forget that you can do it, I'm going to give you a mantra. Okay, you ready? I'm going to give you a little mantra for you to work with when you hit those walls. You ready? When you're feeling nervous, focus on the service, right? So when you're feeling nervous, focus on the service and take that risk if you need to. Take that risk, take that leap to do what your soul is calling you to do. It always pays off. It always pays off. Take good care of yourselves. Be well. Thank you all. Thank you for joining me.